The Israelites stood at the edge of the Red Sea, with no way forward and no way back. Pharaoh had changed his mind. His army was closing in behind them. Fear swept through the camp, and the people cried out to Moses. But Moses gave them a message from God. "Fear ye not. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you." In Exodus chapter 14, God parted the Red Sea. A strong east wind blew all night, and the waters divided. The Israelites walked through on dry ground, with walls of water on either side. When the Egyptians followed, the waters returned and covered them. That day Israel saw the mighty hand of God, and they believed. This miracle was not quickly forgotten. Nephi recalled it when he needed to inspire his brothers to trust God in difficult moments. Alma testified of it to his own son as a witness of God's power. Whenever God's people have needed courage, this story has been their anchor. After crossing, Moses and Miriam led Israel in a song of praise. In Exodus chapter 15, verses 1 through 19, they exalted God as their strength and their song. He had triumphed gloriously. The horse and rider were thrown into the sea. This hymn reminds us that gratitude is a natural response when God delivers us. But the journey was just beginning. In Exodus chapter 15, verses 22 through 27, the Israelites traveled 3 days into the wilderness without water. When they finally found water at Marah, it was bitter and undrinkable. The people murmured. Moses cried to God, and God showed him a tree. Moses cast it into the water, and it became sweet. This pattern repeated. In Exodus chapters 16 and 17, Israel murmured again for food and water. Each time God provided. He sent manna from heaven, bread appearing each morning on the ground. The people were told to gather only what they needed for that day, trusting that God would provide again tomorrow. On the 6th day they gathered double because the 7th day was the Sabbath, a day of rest. At a place called Horeb there was no water again. Moses struck a rock at God's command, and water flowed from it. The Apostle Paul later taught in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 1 through 4, that this rock was a symbol of Jesus Christ, the source of living water. In Exodus chapter 17, verses 8 through 16, Israel was attacked by a people called the Amalekites. Joshua led the battle below, while Moses stood on a hill holding up his hands. As long as his hands were raised, Israel prevailed. When they grew heavy and fell, the enemy advanced. Aaron and Hur stood beside Moses and held up his arms until the battle was won. This image teaches a profound truth. God's work is carried by people who support one another. We all have moments when our hands are heavy, and we all have the opportunity to be like Aaron and Hur, holding up those who lead and serve around us. In Exodus chapter 18, Moses' father-in-law Jethro visited the camp and saw how exhausted Moses had become. He was judging the people from morning until evening, alone. Jethro counseled him to delegate, appoint capable leaders over groups of thousands, hundreds, 50s, and 10s. This allowed Moses to focus on the weightiest matters while others shared the burden. From the Red Sea to the rock at Horeb, God showed Israel that He provides, He protects, and He works through those who trust and support one another. These stories are not just ancient history. They are a witness that God still fights for His people.